Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite optical illusions, which is called the Impossible Triangle, also known as the Penrose Triangle or Penrose Tribar. And the reason why it's called the Impossible Triangle is because in the real physical world, there is no way that we could actually make this part. If we were to print something on a 3D printer and hope for it to look like this, it would be impossible to do. We can't do it because of the way the geometry is. Now, we can, however, create a drawing of this or an illusion of this, and if we draw it correctly and also view it at the proper perspective, it looks like a 3D part. And I'm going to show you how to do that today in OnShape. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up a new OnShape window here. And before I get started, I want to make sure that my work units are correct. So I'm going to come over here to workspace units, and I'm going to change it from inch to millimeter. And now I'm going to create a new sketch on my top plane, and I'm going to select N on my keyboard to go normal 2. And the first thing I want to do is create a shape or a sketch of an L. So to do that, I'm going to select my line tool. I'm just going to line up with my origin, and I'm going to make a vertical line, a horizontal line to the right, and start making an L here. Now, I'm not too worried about my dimensions just yet. We'll get to those in just a second, but I just want to get the basic shape. And now I want to start doing my dimensions. So I'll use my dimension tool, and I'm going to dimension the first left-hand line, and this is going to be 60 millimeters. The bottom horizontal line is going to also be 60 millimeters. The right vertical line is going to be 10 millimeters, and the top horizontal line is going to be 10 millimeters. Okay, now you see that all of my lines have turned from blue to black, so therefore I know that I am fully defined, and it's time to extrude. So I'm just going to rotate a little bit just so I can see my extrude a little better. Now I'm going to go up here to extrude. I'm going to extrude to a depth of 10 millimeters. And I'm good with that. Okay, so now we need to make another sketch. Now our other sketch is going to be located on this surface here. And again, I'm going to select N to go normal 2. And I need to make another, almost like a rectangle with a slash through it. So to do that, I'm going to click on my line tool. I'm going to zoom in a touch here so I can click on the edge of my existing part. The vertical line, diagonal line. Again, I'm not worried about dimensions yet. The vertical line, and come to the right to close up my sketch. And now it's time to start dimensioning. So my left vertical line, I'm going to select on that. It's going to be 30 millimeters. The angle of my line here is going to be 135 degrees. And the dimension between my two vertical lines is going to be 10 millimeters. Okay, again, I'm going to rotate just a touch to check on my extrude before I extrude. Click on extrude. Do an extrusion of 10 millimeters. And I want it to go the other way. Now, before I hit the check mark, it's defaulted to put a new part on here. So what that means is that have one, the L piece would be one part, and the vertical piece would be another part. I want this all to be one solid object. So instead of new, I'm going to click on add. It's going to add to part 1, which is my original part. That's okay. And now you'll see, let me zoom out a little bit, that I have this kind of multi-angled line here. Right? It doesn't look much like a triangle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my planes and turn off my origin, so we just have our little piece in space here. And if I go to change my perspective to isometric, you'll notice that it now looks like the Penrose Triangle, right? So if I go back to my Penrose, there's a little difference, a little angled. But as long as I stay in that isometric view, I can rotate my triangle to however I want. And as long as I stay in isometric, it will always appear to be a triangle. Now we could do a little more with this as well. So we could change the appearance of some of the surfaces. So to do that, I'm just going to select on this surface here first. I'm going to right click and I'm going to add appearance to face, and I'm going to change the color. Let's make this color red. And I'm going to do the front, same for this front face. Again, right click on it, add appearance to face. We'll make that blue. And then I'm going to change the color of this face to gold. Now you'll notice, even though you may be thinking, hey, this should all be one color, right? This gray part and this gold part should be the same, but you have to remember they're different planes, they're different surfaces. It's impossible to make those join. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that that grayish blue area and turn that gold as well. Now if I go back to isometric, okay, that I have a multicolored. Oh, I gotta keep taking it out of isometric. I have a multicolored Penrose triangle.